It's not the love you make. It's the love you give. Let the future tell the truth, and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs, the future, for which I have really worked, is mine. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone, that is when ideas are born. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe. Our virtues and our failings are inseparable, like force and matter. When they separate, man is no more. Invention is the most important product of man's creative brain. The ultimate purpose is the complete mastery of mind over the material world, the harnessing of human nature to human needs. I do not think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The feeling is constantly growing on me that I had been the first to hear the greeting of one planet to another. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment and merging of races, and we are still far from this blissful realization. But instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have, undoubtedly, certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction, or any other willful effort of the brain, is futile. Life is and will ever remain an equation incapable of solution, but it contains certain known factors. Most persons are so absorbed in the contemplation of the outside world that they are wholly oblivious to what is passing on within themselves. As I review the events of my past life, I realize how subtle are the influences that shape our destinies. We crave for new sensations, but soon become indifferent to them. The wonders of yesterday are today common occurrences. The scientific man does not aim at an immediate result. He does not expect that his advanced ideas will be readily taken up. His work is like that of a planter for the future. His duty is to lay foundation of those who are to come and point the way. Most certainly, some planets are not inhabited, but others are, and among these there must exist life under all conditions and phases of development. Though free to think and act, we are held together, like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable. These ties cannot be seen, but we can feel them. So astounding are the facts in this connection, that it would seem as though the Creator himself had electrically designed this planet. Everyone should consider his body as a priceless gift from one whom he loves above all. The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. My mother had taught me to seek all truth in the Bible. When natural inclination develops into a passionate desire, one advances towards his goal in 7-league boots. As I review the events of my past life, I realize how subtle are the influences that shape our destinies. One may feel a sudden wave of sadness and rake his brain for an explanation when he might have noticed that it was caused by a cloud cutting off the rays of the sun. It is not in the shallow physical imitation of men that women will assert first their equality and later their superiority, but in the awakening of the intellect of women. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment and merging of races, and we are still far from this blissful realization. The progressive development of man is vitally dependent on invention. These are only new devices for putting the weak at the mercy of the strong. One has to be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. I am credited with being one of the hardest workers, and perhaps I am, if thought is the equivalent of labor, for I have devoted to it almost all of my waking hours. My project was retarded by laws of nature. The world was not prepared for it. It was too far ahead of time. But the same laws will prevail in the end and make it a triumphal success. There is scarcely a subject that cannot be mathematically treated and the effects calculated or the results determined beforehand from the available theoretical and practical data. Deficient observation is merely a form of ignorance and responsible for the many morbid notions and foolish ideas prevailing. My belief is firm in a law of compensation. The true rewards are ever in proportion to the labor and sacrifices made. Merciless is the law of nature, and rapidly and irresistibly we are drawn to our doom. Instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have, undoubtedly, certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile. The by far greater number of human beings are never aware of what is passing around and within them, and millions fall victims of disease and die prematurely just on this account. and led me to finally recognize that I was but an automaton devoid of free will in thought and action and merely responsible to the forces of the environment. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane.